Hey guys, this is Duffin here. Just something I kind of wanted to do for a while. Just wanted to start making videos. As of right now, I think I'll probably be doing is it's mostly gonna be reviews of video games, TV shows, and movies. If I get a good enough computer, I might do a gameplay commentary here and there. But with the computer I have right now, I would not be able to handle doing that. And every so often, I might do some covers of some music, or if I ever write my own music, I might perform that. Which I already do have one video of that on my channel that you guys should check out if you get the chance. So today what we're going to be talking about is, it was actually my first anime ever. It's called Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Now when you go into this, you might see that there's two things might pop up. There's a regular Fullmetal Alchemist, and then there's Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. The difference between these two is Brotherhood came out later, so it has slightly better video quality as well as voice acting. As far as the plot goes, the main difference is just that with the original Fullmetal Alchemist, it had followed the source material, but then about halfway through, it had taken a break while the TV show just kept on going. But then once the source material was finished, they remade Brotherhood, which pretty much follows the source material word for word. Now, a lot of people have said that this is a very good starter anime because it doesn't have any of like the things that would be kind of weird to us Western audiences that may be completely normal in Japan. There's not much fan service in it. For those that don't know what fan service basically is, it's like hot chicks just for the sake of hot chicks. So there's not much of that. There's a little bit of it, but it actually kind of makes sense with the plot, so I personally really call it fan service, but that's beside the point. And it actually even has a Western-ish setting in it. The setting is loosely actually based on Germany during World War II Nazi time period, so you might see some relations between those if you like your history, especially World War II and Nazi Germany. But onto the show itself. The two main characters in the show are Edward and Alphonse Elric. They are two young boys. Well, at the beginning of the series, as a bit of a prologue, they're, I think, 7 and 8. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me on that. And when they're that age, their mother dies of a disease. And so what they do is they learn alchemy to try and bring her back to life. What alchemy is, it's a mixture of science and magic. Basically, it's the art of understanding matter, deconstruction, and reconstruction. So basically just they make things, which sounds kind of just weird, but kind of how the idea behind how it works is they're the art of equivalent exchange. Basically, if you're going to get something, you have to give something up of equal value. So, for example, let's say he wants to make an iron sword. He has to give up enough iron for that sword. Granted, he can use that iron anywhere. For just an example of something that does happen at a point, there's a puddle of blood and he needs a weapon badly. So, using alchemy, he manages to extract some of the iron from that blood to make a sword. That's just kind of the basis of alchemy, except the thing is, what they're trying to do, bring their mother back to life, it is regarded as taboo by all alchemists. You don't do this. Because, as I said before, with the art of equivalent exchange, nobody knows what the value of a human soul is. So, when they do that, who knows what they would have to give up to transmute a soul. Transmuting is what it's called when you perform alchemy. But they do this, and they find out what the price is for a human soul. Some type of portal opens and brings them into it, and it takes Ed's left hand, and it takes Al's entire body. But then Ed does some alchemy again, and he manages to bind his brother to a suit of armor, but in the process of doing that, he loses his leg. So that brings us into the plot of the show. Basically, they're looking for the Philosopher's Stone, also known as the Crimson Elixir, many things, and it's known to just be able to enhance alchemy a lot, and can be used to pretty much transmute anything. So they're looking for this to attempt to get their bodies back. Edward his arm and leg, and Al's entire body. So to do this, they join the military, actually, and at this point they're, I think, 15 and 14? Yeah, let's go with that. And so the military actually has a program called State Alchemist, where they recruit very strong alchemists to fight if the need arises. So they join the military, and using the privileges as well as the money they get from being a part of the military, they research the Philosopher's Stone and try and find it. And now some of these side characters in the show. There is Colonel Roy Mustang, who is also known as the Flame Alchemist. He is basically Ed and Al's supervisor, I guess. They're the ones that they directly report to. Then there's also his assistant, Riza Hawkeye, who's actually not an alchemist. She's a sniper in the military, who I would almost say kind of takes over like almost a big sister role of sorts to the brothers. Then there is a man named Scar, who is an Ishvalan terrorist. The Ishvalans were a group of people who, about, I think, 10 years before the show started, there was an incident down there where a soldier accidentally shot and killed a young Ishvalan girl, so the Ishvalans rebelled because there were already a lot of issues in the area. So they rebelled, and then 10 years ago it had gotten so bad to the point where mass genocide was committed against the Ishvalan people, and Scar was one of the few survivors, and the main people that killed all of the Ishvalans were state alchemists. So he's sworn revenge on all state alchemists and has already killed a good number of them by the time the show starts. And then the last character I'm going to talk about today is Winry Rockbell. She is a childhood friend of Edward and Al's, and she is also Ed's automail mechanic. Automail is it's prosthetics. It looks almost like armor, but it's actually like a prosthetic arm and leg. So she was the one that designed his automail, did the surgery to attach it, and maintains it when it gets damaged, which happens a lot and is kind of reoccurring joke in the series. So yeah, I would highly recommend that if you guys get the chance to check this out. If you want to, but you don't really have the means to, there's a site called Crunchyroll that I'm a member of, so I get free guest passes once a month. So if you shoot me an email, Facebook message, feel free to do that, and I can give you the code for the guest pass. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If there's stuff that I could do better, or stuff that you would specifically like me to talk about, just tell me, and I will do that. Hope you all have a wonderful night. Bye.